Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we are going to be talking about the Champs race updates, Black Ops 6 announcement, which I still have to get it down, which Black Ops I'm saying, World Cup rumors for the Call of Duty matches. They're going to talk about the matches from this previous weekend and then finish up with making predictions. So if you guys enjoy this one, we got a packed episode today. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Let's jump right into this one. Brock, how you doing today?
Oh, doing, online COD, some interesting outcomes of this weekend, to say the least, to help the champs race, heat up more and more. And, other than that, excited to get into it.
Yeah, things are they are certainly heating up, getting more and more interesting here as the matches go along. Like, we've got some teams that, like, you would have thought they would be like really setting themselves up, but other teams end up losing. Like, the OpTic losses have really thrown the standings for a loop, because you kind of figure Minnesota would have lost to OpTic, kept them at 130, and then them, Vegas, and Carolina would be in a three-way tie. You maybe don't figure Carolina takes out LAT. They end up doing that. Miami continues to, put a couple wins on the board to stay ahead. Surge are kind of separating themselves from the pack. We've got a heated race. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit, Brock. But actually, no, let's start with Champs update. So obviously we got our top four locked in. I mean, do you have any objection to basically saying Seattle's pretty locked in, I would think, Brock?
I would say Seattle's most likely in.
Yeah, because, I mean, who do they have coming up here? I remember looking at it, they didn't have like much left. I mean, yeah, they have Vegas, who looks formidable, but then they play Miami and LAG. And they're already 20 points off the cutoff. I'm going to go ahead and assume they're going to win minimum one match between the Vegas, Miami, and LAG matches they have left, if not two. So we're going to say Seattle's probably in. As weird as it sounds, because I don't really know that I want them at Champs, I think Miami's probably going to be in. Although, I don't know, Brock, there's a world where Miami, so their remaining schedule, they're sitting at 150. So they're in sole possession of sixth place. But their remaining schedule is Carolina, Seattle, FaZe. There's a world where they lose all three of those matches.
Yeah. Like one bad week, other teams win and, they go above them.
Well, I would say the big one for them obviously is Carolina, though, because Carolina could get to 140, only 10 behind them. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think they're going to beat Seattle or FaZe, unless like FaZe is like really testing a map pool on that last match of the split or something. I don't think they're going to beat them. So it does get very, very, very interesting, because I don't know. Do you disagree? I think they're gonna lose the last three matches. Maybe because I'm wishful thinking, hoping Carolina makes it, because I've already stated I really want them at Champs.
Yeah, I mean, the match is really this Carolina match. But who knows? The top teams have been losing to these middle of the lower pack teams recently. So who knows about FaZe and stuff?
I mean, I agree with you, but I would say if it was any team other than FaZe, I would agree with you. But FaZe is like the team I feel like just like won't drop.
Yeah.
To the bottom teams in general. So like, if that was like New York or OpTic with the way they've been playing lately, or even Toronto, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But since it's FaZe, I'm like, nah.
Yeah. I would agree with you, though, on that part.
I think Miami is going to be in, but maybe not. Maybe they lose all three. I'm kind of wishful thinking, because I tweeted out. I want to get your thoughts on this. Actually, we'll go through all of them, and I want to get your thoughts on who you want to be the final four teams, just for entertainment purposes. Because I tweeted something about it this weekend. But then we go down to our seventh place team in sole possession of seventh place with 145 points. It's LAT. And Brock, we kind of thought they were almost locked in. Things are going to get a little scary for LAT here, Brock. Do you know what their remaining schedule is? Listen to this. This weekend, they play Toronto and FaZe.
Ooh, that's
Next
tough.
weekend, they play Vegas and NYSL.
Oh, and Vegas really needs points too. They can go 0-4.
They could easily go 0-4, which would put them in a bad position for the major. There is a legitimate world where LAT doesn't make Champs. Like, if Vegas and Carolina are able to capitalize off their schedules, which coming up here, so like that, I would say LAT, if they have a really good last two weekends, they would go 2-2. Wouldn't you agree? Like a win over Vegas, then finding one win over one of the top four teams.
Yeah, I would say that's a good week.
Yeah, like if they went 2-2 to finish out, I would say that was really good from LAT. I'm assuming they're going to go 1-3 or 0-4 with a win over Vegas. Because then if you go to just like Vegas and Carolina, so Carolina plays OpTic, Miami, and Boston. So Carolina has got to find a way to beat both Miami and Boston, guaranteed. and OpTics look vulnerable. And then Vegas has Surge, LAG, LAT, and Minnesota. So Vegas has a very favorable schedule compared to LAT.
Yeah.
I mean, they play each other, and then Vegas's remaining matches are Surge, LAG, and Minnesota, whereas LAT has NYSL, FaZe, and Toronto. So not even close. The strength of schedule favors Vegas heavily, and Carolina.
Yeah.
And then when you go over to Minnesota, who, I mean, got a huge win over OpTic, but Minnesota has to play NYSL, Toronto, and Vegas. So the way I look at it, Brock, I think Minnesota is going to lose their next 3, and I think they're going to be pretty much effectively eliminated. I think Vegas is going to win 3 of 4, potentially, and they'll be up at 160. Rocker will fall out. I think Vegas is going to jump LAT and Minnesota and Heretics potentially and get all the way up into 6th going into the major.
Yeah.
And I think we might be sitting at like Seattle and Vegas are looking good going into the major, and then we're kind of like a 3-horse race between Carolina, Miami, and LAT for the last 2 spots.
Yes, yeah. Based on what you said, the LA Thieves and Rockets schedule, it literally could be this, Vegas and Ravens go up there with their strength of schedule.
Which I'll say is not exactly the pool of teams I want. I'm curious, like, so I'm not saying like personal bias at all, because if it was personal bias, like, I don't know, I might say just because I'm a big gunless, Rocker fan in general, like I might say that like I want to see that team. But if you're just talking like, obviously you and I are headed to champs, like if you're talking purely you want to be the most entertained as possible with the pool of teams, what would you say? Obviously, like we're not including the top 4, we know they're in.
Yep.
To pick the other 4 teams that would be there, who would you pick like right now based on current form, what you've seen, what you think the potential is? What would you pick as the 4 teams you want to see there?
First, I would definitely want Vegas Legion up there at champs for sure. Definitely Carolina, based on how they play so well against teams on land. And the players that have like Clayster and Fellow, the OGs, I guess, at this point, TJ.
Yeah.
And I want to see Thieves in there if they can squeak by that schedule they have, because we love Thieves over here.
Yeah.
Man,
you're leaving out the most obvious one to me.
I want LAG, but I don't know how about that's gonna go.
Because I think the most obvious one that you left out is Surge, just because they look like the 5th best team right now, so they'll lead to entertaining matches too.
Yeah,
they've been upsetting some top teams.
I was gonna say them next, but I kind of already have them since they've been playing pretty damn well already.
Yeah,
up there.
So that would be your 4 then.
Yeah.
Vegas, Carolina, Surge, and LAT.
Yeah.
So I agree. That was the 4 that I tweeted about, the 4 that I want to see at champs, because I'm talking purely like I want to be most entertained, have the most upset potential. I just can't really see Miami upsetting a top 4 team. I can't see Minnesota. I know Minnesota beat OpTic this weekend, but like at champs on land, I can't see Minnesota upsetting a team necessarily. I definitely can't see LAG. Then Boston's just out of the equation. But I don't know. Like the way I look at it, Brock, like I think Seattle with their current form, they definitely, to me, Seattle is far and away like right now the 5th best team. Like it's hard to argue. Like Vegas, this good run, but it's been so short that it's like you don't want to jump too much to conclusions. But like I think Seattle's clearly the 5th best team. They have upset potential, so I want to see them there. I think LAT, even though they've been so poor on land, like online they're one of our better bottom teams. So like I think that they have a chance to pull off upsets. Vegas with their current form, they look like the hottest team along with Seattle among the bottom teams. And I think that like I said, I think Vegas, their team is always like with this Johnny pickup, has always had shooters, and we're going to touch on them because I feel pretty vindicated in like the argument I've been having about Vegas for the past month since they dropped Purge. And then I think Carolina, like you said, it comes down to them or Minnesota probably for that last spot, or Miami. And I just think Carolina, between Miami and Minnesota and them, had the best chance at giving us good matches. Like you said, with the veteranship of Clay, TJ Fellow, they seem to play pretty well on land. They seem to like always keep the series close on land. I don't know. I just feel like they're going to be fun. And also like, I want to watch Clay at champs because potentially it could be his last. You never know when he's going to retire. So it'd be fun because I mean, I saw him win champs, the first one I went to in BO4, and then didn't get to see him at the last champs we went to, which was last year because he was unfortunately not playing. And he's like an OG, like you said, so would like to watch him play at another champs.
Yeah. So we to get the same 4, but I wouldn't mind Miami for their fan base and stuff, to be honest.
I was going to say the same thing. The team doesn't intrigue me that much because I still just don't see the upset potential, but the fan base is crazy and the Spanish fans show out. So like I think that would be really fun to have like an all Spanish roster being represented at the World Championship for the first time in quite some time. I think that would be very fun because the fans would be going crazy for it.
Yeah. I agree.
But either way, it's gonna be fun. I'm just like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm assuming Miami's probably gonna sneak in. I just really want for that. So like, if Miami is gonna sneak in with Surge, like, just please don't give me like Rocker or LAG in there. Like, don't let LAG sneak in somehow. Like, give me Vegas and Seattle and like LAT at least.
Yeah.
And then like whoever you want to throw in for the fourth, like Rocker, Miami, Carolina, whatever. But I would like to see Carolina there.
Yep. Agreed. Give me Boston.
The storyline's already being set up too, by the way, now that I'm looking at it, because Carolina would probably sneak into 8. And like they keep showing that graphic of like Tej hasn't beat them in like 1,500 days, the Tiny Terrors or phase.
That's an insane stat.
Yeah. They haven't beat him in like 5 years since like Black Ops 4, and like Clay hasn't beat him since like MW19 or something. Or like maybe since Cold War, I think it was with NYSL. Clay hasn't beat them. So the storyline's setting up perfect. Carolina takes out phase round 1.
That'd be
not gonna happen. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing, Brock, this is probably going to take up a bulk of our like news section and going to make the podcast a little longer. That's Black Ops 6. So there was a lot announced. I would say, well, let's just go like kind of one by one and pick apart some things. So like one of the biggest things I heard from the announcement that I liked was 12 original 6v6 maps at launch, and then 4 maps that are like designed for 2v2. So I'm assuming like a gunfight mode, but they also said could be played as 6v6. Those are probably going to be more like shipment style maps because they'll probably be really small. But could lead to really fun pubs maps when you're just like farming for camos and stuff.
Yeah.
Or XP, obviously, because like those tiny maps are going to lead to a lot of kills and a lot of XP. And then I believe also like we've heard a lot of rumors like there's going to be a lot of like remade maps, like from the Black Ops series, potentially firing range, like raid, slums, those kind of maps, standoff. I don't know if those will be in the game off launch. I don't remember them saying much about it, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, 12 original 6v6 maps, and they said they're going back to the OG map design style. Like they're going to do classic 3-lane, medium to small size maps for the most part.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess any further thoughts on that? Because I'm very excited. Like when I hear like the medium to small classic 3-lane, that gets me excited because I do believe Treyarch can deliver, and I really hope they can deliver some good original maps. As much as we like playing throwbacks, like we always say, like we're never going to complain about like a raid, a standoff being implemented back into the map pool because they're great maps. But like if I could choose to have those, or like if I'd rather have them make like absolute banger original maps that are to the top tier level, I'd always choose the original ones because they're just more fresh and fun to play and watch.
Yeah. Medium to small range maps is my kind of thing. I love the engagements, just so much better than these large maps. You gotta keep running around the map forever to find kills.
To me, it's not even like, you're right, I agree with you 100%, but like to me, it's not even like the large maps. It's like the extra useless space you've had on so much maps. Like in a map like, I don't know, just a few maps I can think of over the last few years, like Miami and Cold War. Like
so much useless space.
It had like the basis of what potentially could be a good map. Like if you could just like cut off the outer beach, cut off the extra like area in the spawns, like the extra buildings back there. If you could like just like chop off the outer thirds of the map, or like a map like Invasion this year, like there's just so much extra space in the back of the map with like Palace and Gas. Like you could just have like the bases of like the middle map. It might be fun. Or like Moscow. Remember earlier in the year they had to like cut off some parts because it was just like so much extra space in Cold War.
Yeah.
There's been just a lot of maps like that over the past few years where it's like there's just so much extra unneeded space you could like shrink down the map and make it better, to get us back to those classic styles. So I hope that's what they're doing, shrinking down that like extra useless spawn area and giving us the more classic small maps we were used to seeing really in all of the Black Ops series.
Yep. I mean, it's track, so sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, really the only game I can think of off the top of my head for competitive maps where we had like some of that useless space in a Treyarch game was like Cold War. Like if you think like, I mean, like Checkmate had kind of like a longer back spawn for no reason.
Yeah.
Moscow did, like kind of blanking out if there are other maps like that, but in general, I mean, Cold War had the best maps we've had in a while. Probably before Cold War. It's definitely had the best maps of the CDL era.
Yeah,
Probably before that, like I really enjoyed the BO4 maps. Some people had issues with them. I
I
love the
love them.
BO3 maps. I mean, excellent maps there.
BO2
IW
maps
didn't have
good
like the
too.
worst maps ever either.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the maps. I would think you'd be the same way. Also, it makes it more fun. I'm not gonna lie. Also, like, still, you and I both are more like ranked play players, but especially on a good game, and especially with what we'll talk about in a second, it makes it more fun to grind pubs. And when I'm playing 12 brand new maps and like learning them to play ranked play, I also will have way more fun than like when we spawned up last year and we knew every map. Like, it's fun to go back and play those, but like it is a little bit more like of a rush and more fun to play when you get to like try out like every time you spawn and you're like loading like learning spawns and like learning new things about a map, and
Yep.
that's always fun.
Yep, I agree there.
Omni movement, Brock. We heard about that a little bit. This is like I'm all for new movement, especially new movement mechanics. It looks very interesting. So like for those of you that didn't see it, like you can now like slide or dive in like every direction. Like you can like dive sideways, dive backwards, like dive at an angle. You can like lay down like prone backwards,
Hmm.
kind of like Rainbow Six. Like um, you can like run in any direction. So like instead of having to like, technically you can like still face one way and walk that way now, but you can't move that fast. But now you can like sprint sideways or backwards.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm concerned with that is apparently it's going to be an in-game setting, whether you want to turn it on or not. So I have a feeling pros are going to just GA it instantly.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about that too, but I hope they don't, because it could create for some nasty movements and all that stuff from
Dude, it
people.
could create for some really weird, like the thing I was thinking about it, like it could create for some really weird stuff too. Like imagine like a situation like in like search and destroy. Like I'll think of like a map this year. Like let's say like A bomb on Rio this year. Let's say you're like standing on that like top balcony, people stand on to watch it,
Yeah.
and you want to like back up. You can like fall down and sprint backwards the entire time, so you don't have to take your eyes off of like the cross.
Hmm.
And like it could take away some like COD timings, or like you know how like sometimes like you want to go like run to a different heady, you like turn to the side, like run, slide, cancel to it, and you like in that split second maybe somebody crossed and you missed them. Now you
Yeah.
can just sprint sideways and keep your eyes on the cross the entire time. Like that's like gonna be something really weird.
Yeah, it's be definitely like something, if that is in the play in rig play, something new we have to adjust to.
Yeah, it's gonna be really like I don't know, or like the running backwards thing. Like think about like again for example like a Rio, or like a B search on invasion. Like if you're like playing back by that back room back there, and you like want to keep watching front to make sure nobody's crossing, you can just sprint backwards to your spawn.
Hmm.
Like constantly watch the cross. Like it's crazy to think about like what that could do. It's like usually like if you wanted to like crab walk backwards, you'd go really slow and you would be late. But like now you're going to be sprinting.
Yeah.
It's very very interesting the differences it could create. Especially, I don't think it'll do much at respawn because respawn you have to play so fast and like be constantly hitting movements that you don't have time for that. But like you can back off. Like if it's going to be the same sprint speed, you might as well keep watching the cross. I don't know. It could be something really interesting.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for that, all the movement that could possibly do with it.
Yeah, the crazy like sliding in every direction could lead to some crazy skill gap plays, and like hard point on a hill or something could lead to some crazy skill gap.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
So am I. Speaking of the pubs grind, Brock, Classic Prestige is back. It sounds like it'll be 10 prestiges, 55 levels per prestige. So just like Black Ops 2, if I remember correctly. And then just like Black Ops 3 and 4, they'll have the Prestige Master to level 1000. So like once you finish the 10th prestige, you can go to Prestige Master. Then that goes up to like 55k XP or whatever it will be per level, all the way up to level 1000. So you can be like level 1000 Prestige Master. So I am incredibly excited about that because like literally since Black Ops 4, I would assume you agree, I have not even like cared or ever looked what my level is.
Yeah, I usually, it's a level, player's really good, be high level in a certain amount of time, but now it's just like no one even looks at it. I definitely don't even look at it. I don't even know what level I am in this COD I play right
I
now.
couldn't, and I play the game a decent amount. I play rank play a decent amount. I could not tell you what level I am. I don't even know what the level cap is because like leveling has become such a pointless and useless thing
Hmm.
in the current model. Like there's a level cap during the season, and like you hit a certain level, and then like I guess like I think sometimes your level sticks for the next season. So you start at like level 65 or whatever it is, whatever the cap is. I think you start the cap and can go over. I literally couldn't tell you how the leveling system works. because it's been dumbed down and made that useless. Like when we were kids, like your prestige was like some people would just like stay at level 55 and not prestige at all because they wanted to keep the weapons. Some people would like just go to their favorite prestige. Like maybe your favorite prestige logo was 4, so you would stay at prestige 4.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, we had one friend that got prestige master twice on Black Ops 2. Like, they fresh restart and got it again. Like, or you might like, I don't know, maybe you just like want to get to a certain prestige. Like I said, keep that logo. Like it was like a bragging rights thing. Like, oh, and like, oh my God, it's double XP in Nuketown this weekend. I'm going to try to prestige like once or twice or like however much you can play. I'm going to try to prestige as many times as possible. Like it was just fun, like racing to that master prestige and like actually satisfying to play pubs and level up for that. Even like all the way up to Black Ops 3 and 4, like especially Black Ops 3. I played a lot of pubs. Like I would think you would agree. Like it was like a lot more like dope and like a lot more fun to just like go for that max prestige, and like it was satisfying to prestige and constantly level up in those games.
Yeah, it's a lot more like rewarding in a way.
Yeah, like getting on, you have the cool like prestige logo, or you're like a prestige ahead of your friends, and they're trying to catch up to you, and like you're racing to master prestige, and like that was always just so fun. And now, like, not saying it's like the most fun thing, and I don't think I'll like it as much now because I just don't love pubs, but like for people that are like just first getting into Call of Duty and they enjoy pubs, like it's gonna be a way better experience for them.
Oh yeah,
I think it's gonna be player retention higher for regular pubs as well.
Interesting.
Because like people are gonna want to grind for the level more. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would think so. But like you said, when we were kids, we'd love that. We'd love all that stuff they're bringing back now. Now we probably won't love it as much because we know we're adults.
Yeah, don't have as much time to play as you do when you're a kid. Like every night after school, you're grinding out like pubs, and like pubs are way more fun because like at the time also like you start out, you're not that good at COD, so like you're grinding pubs so you can get better and play ranked and stuff and like get out of gold or whatever the rank is at the time. But I couldn't even explain how excited I am for Classic Prestige to be back, because I'll actually care about what my level is again. And like, I don't know, it makes like double XP weekends. Like now double XP weekends pretty much feel useless. The only thing double XP weekends are good for is in the beginning of the game when you're going for mastery camo and you get double weapon XP. That's literally the only positive thing about double XP. Like I couldn't care less about my level and like double XP. Like when I see that, it means nothing to me. Like I know you would feel the same way, but like when you'd see like Black Ops 2 when you were a kid and you saw like Nuketown double XP, you got hyped to play that.
Yeah,
like you were hyped to prestige.
Now it's just like I really could care less.
Which no shocker there, but also we did see Nuketown is in the game, which I actually saw some people complaining about that, which is just mind blowing to me. Like, oh, they're bringing it back again. Like, what did you expect? It's a Black Ops game. Like, you should expect Nuketown to be in the game. And who complains about Nuketown? It's an awesome pubs map. Probably the best pubs map of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the best pubs map.
I know you probably would say like Dome or something. Nuketown's mine.
Yeah, I mean, Nuketown is really, really good.
Just Nuketown double XP always hits.
Yep.
Other things to talk about. Yeah, we talked about the insane movement gap releasing on October 25th. Looks like there's potentially going to be a beta in August, I believe it was. And for all platforms at the same time, so no like PlayStation first or PC like second or whatever. There's a screenshot that showed ranked, which is no surprise. Who knows if it'll be in on launch. One other thing about the release date and everything that's pretty cool is if you have Game Pass for like PC or console or anything, it will be on there for free day one for Xbox or PC players, which is super cool if you have Game Pass.
It's lit.
Another in-game thing, Brock, the HUD is fully customizable. So like where your minimap is located, where like your bullets in the clip and all that stuff, like where all that's located is customizable. I think it's cool because like maybe there are people who like another experience or play another game where like the things are in the area, or there's like a streamer mode where it puts everything in a spot where like your face cam can go in a clean spot and like still show everything easily. But really probably cool for people that like play a different game where the HUD is different and they can like copy it to that. For me, it probably won't do much because I'll probably just keep it classic, like how it always is.
Default,
but cool for people that want to like switch it, because I would be like so thrown off. I've been playing COD for so long that if it was different, I'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, no, definitely a cool feature being added.
And then the last thing, something I'm very excited for. Like I know it's not either of our things, but I would think you're excited for it as well, because like there are some random like late night fun times. So there's 2 zombies maps off launch. I think it sounds like the round base. I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit ignorant to like the zombies announcement because I more watched the multiplayer when I had time this weekend. But to me, zombies is always a fun time. Like, you and I have one friend that's like really into zombies, so I'm excited for that community because they've gotten shafted for
Mm-hmm.
quite some time now. Like, once again, I'm not nearly as knowledgeable on zombies as like I'm sure some of the people listening are. I like we have one friend that's like really into like all the eggs, doing like everything, like literally knows everything there is to know about zombies, and we just like play with him. He just basically carries us through the egg. We just run around, shoot, just like have fun,
Yep.
like talk, play the eggs, and like those are really fun. So I'm really excited to play like zombies like that, but I'm excited for that community and really hope it's like round base, good Easter eggs, because like from what I understand for like the OG community, Cold War wasn't necessarily like the best zombies, and I could be wrong on that because like I said, don't know like a ton about it from, but from my perspective, like Cold War wasn't the best. I think some people kind of like Black Ops 4, but I would say like for the zombies community, I don't think we've had a banger zombies game since Black Ops 3. And once again, I could be wrong. Like neither of us are the most knowledgeable on zombies, but from what I understand, I don't think we've really had like a banger game since Black Ops 3. So, and that community deserves a banger game because they are passionate.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Might be the most passionate community in like all of Call of Duty.
You might be right. Yeah.
Zombies community loves their game,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Zombies is awesome. Like all the eggs are always so cool to me.
Yeah. All the Easter eggs and stuff you can do within the zombies game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you're probably on the same way, but I'm really, really excited for zombies. I hope the maps are bangers. I hope they're round based again. And I hope they're like full Easter eggs with amazing DLC maps that come out because I would love to dive right back into zombies and like play the eggs and just like play high rounds on like random maps with friends because it's always a fun, like random late night thing.
Yep. Agreed there.
Then the last thing, finally, Brock, on Black Ops 6 is there's no pick 10 for multiplayer, which does suck, but it seems like loadouts have like a pretty standard look. So you have your primary, your secondary, and what's interesting is you have a dedicated melee. So
Interesting.
it seems like, yeah, you have your AR, your sub, whatever, then your pistol, and then it seems like you have like a dedicated knife or like some kind of like specialty melee. To me, that's probably to get people to buy more microtransaction melee weapons.
Yeah.
So you can always feature it on your class. Then you have your lethal, your tactical, your field upgrade, your 3 perks plus a perk specialty, and then wildcards. I'm not exactly sure what the perk specialty is. We'll have to maybe get some more info on that. But a pretty standard looking class overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a little sad it's not pick 10 though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, pick 10 for ranked is just the best.
Pick 10 for ranked is the best because it punishes you for not having certain things. Like in order to like stack your weapon more, you have to give up like your tac mask or your perks or your nades. In order to have stuns, you might have to give up a couple attachments on your gun. It just like overall balances things out a lot more. Like you want to stack your weapon, you're not going to have much but a stacked weapon and not many perks or tax or anything. Or if you want your whole team to have tax, you're going to have to give up like lightweight or something, or a grip on your gun or a quick draw. Like the pick 10 was just the best way to balance it competitively, but unfortunately not a thing anymore. And like we saw like some screenshots of the guns. It's going to be like Warzone, like there's a million attachments again, and you can just say shout out to Warzone for that.
Yeah. Shout out Warzone.
Which is a very sarcastic shout out from the both of us. I think both of us would be completely fine. I mean, I know it's good for Call of Duty. I'm not saying it's not, and I know there's a big Warzone community, but for the two of us and what we like to play and watch, like Warzone went away tomorrow, neither of us would be affected by it.
Yeah, it's just not for us.
Actually, we would be affected if Warzone went away in a positive way, just from the fact that we would enjoy the game more, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But interesting stuff there, and that's enough Black Ops 6 talk. But I'm very excited for it. Like I would say, both of us have a Treyarch bias. But I would also say that, like when I say we have a Treyarch bias, I think it's warranted. To be honest with you, like they are far and away, even from what if you want to call it bias or not, I think objectively they are clearly the best developer.
Yeah.
Like they make the best second game mode in terms of zombies is the best like secondary game mode in Call of Duty. They make the best competitive. To me, they make the best pubs experience. Like they have the most feedback and listen to their community. Like they are by far the best developer, like biased or non-biased. So very excited for their game. We've been waiting a long time since Cold War.
Yep. I agree with everything you just said because it's just the facts.
Yeah. All right. One more thing to touch on before we kind of talk about some of these teams from the last weekend and get into predictions is the World Cup, Brock. The Esports World Cup. Basically, now it's pretty heavily rumored that Call of Duty will be involved there, which is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a while it didn't look like it might not be there. It sounds like there's like a $3 million total prize pool, roughly. So it sounds like the big rumor is Warzone will be taking place on like July 4th weekend, so July 3rd through the 6th, with a $1 million prize pool, which is incredible, like a huge prize pool. So it's a great. I know we just bashed Warzone, but I mean, I'm never gonna hate on like the competitive players getting a chance to play for a lot of money. So that's huge for them. But apparently, Modern Warfare 3, the multiplayer side, August 15th through the 18th, is going to have a tournament that will be a $1.8 million prize pool, is the rumor.
The big prize pool there.
Yeah, huge. And it's interesting because like when you hear World Cup, I'm assuming we all think the same thing. Like, oh, it'll be like USA versus Mexico versus Canada versus the UK versus like all these teams. Like, we think it'll be like countries or whatever. Like, break it down. Like France will have a team, and maybe like Spain. All these places will have teams, but I don't think that's the way it's going to be. It seems like it's going to be like the organizations that were mentioned. So like 100 Thieves will have a team. FaZe is in there. Cloud9 was in there. There's some like South American organizations, some organizations from Asia, North American organizations. So it'll be interesting. Like I think they could pick up rosters, but it's happening about a month after champs. So people will be free agents at the time. I don't know how the rosters are going to work because like, there's that rule where like CDL players in like official tournaments, they can only have 2 players from the same team,
Mm-hmm.
like playing in the tournament. So I'm interested to see how that works. Like if players are still under contract, like if all the FaZe guys are under contract, can only like Simp and Easy team and they can't have Selly and Radraza on their roster.
Yeah, it'd definitely be interesting to see how it is played out.
Well, and all players are going to want to play in this because there are 30 organizations, I believe, involved. Who knows if all 30 will be playing Call of Duty or not? Like, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think like the scene in like Asia for Call of Duty is very big. So I can't imagine they'll have like amazing teams to field. So like maybe those organizations just like won't field a team for Call of Duty, or maybe they'll reach out and they want to, and they'll like try to sign North American pro players just for the one tournament to represent them, or maybe the players can get loaned out of their contracts.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I'm assuming all the pros and top challenger players are going to want to play in it because I mean it's like another champs prize pool. It's huge. $1.8 million prize pool is huge.
Yeah, who doesn't want money?
I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be 100K plus minimum per player for first. Like, it's literally like winning champs money wise. And also, like, it's going to be counted as like a very legitimate championship for a player because, like, if all 30 teams or whatever are participating in it, it's going to be literally like another champs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's going to be a great opportunity for, like, this is going to be an awesome opportunity for, like, challengers players to get their name out there because, like, obviously, if 30 teams are participating and it's a standard Call of Duty format, that's 120 players.
Yeah.
There's only 48 in the league, so like that leaves a lot of spots, 70 plus spots for challenger players, people that were just dropped out of the league to go ahead and play. And like, I don't know, it's going to breathe a lot more life into the game because there's going to be something to play for after champs. I hope this becomes a regular thing because this is going to be awesome and going to give us an extra month plus of content.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It also might screw with roster mania though.
It might a little bit
because like champs wraps up and usually roster mania kicks off, and like there's also going to be the scramble and like time there you want to like set your World Cup roster, and you're going to want to scrim because like people aren't just going to go into this like we're going to wing it. Like there's going to be, especially like if the pro players aren't scrimming, the challenger players are going to be going hard. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my god, I'm a challengers player. I have a chance to win 100K plus, basically win a champs without even being in CDL. Like, it's crazy. So this better happen. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, those challenger players go hard because they don't always get paid a lot, or
I mean, they're not even like making a living wage unless you're winning like every tournament. Like, Challengers is designed for you to like do as a thing on the side and like have it catapult you to potentially like get a spot in the league. It's not designed to be a full-time career.
Yeah, so that'll be very, very interesting, and I would love to see how this all plays out.
I'm super excited too because Brock, it's going to give us. I mean, that time after champs, once you lose roster mania, basically just becomes a dead time for content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I am very, 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 very excited. Just on the fact that we're gonna have so much extra content.
Mm-hmm.
To talk about like that final month. Like we're not only gonna have roster mania stuff, but we're also gonna have just a ridiculous amount of like oh, here's this roster, and like if all 30 organizations have one, we can like break down each roster for each organization, who we think is going to win, and it's going to be crazy interesting if, let's say like you can only have like the 2 players per team, and like LAT has to get 2 players on loan, and only the Tiny Terrors can play together. But we get to see them with a new duo, like the Tiny Terrors pair up with like the OpTic AR duo, and we get to see like Kenny Dashy, Simp Easy. Just it could get really crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So very excited for that. All right, Brock, let's talk about the matches from this previous weekend. Maybe not dive into every single one, but talk about some big talking points. So Surge takes their first loss. They lost to New York. They played them well, though. They kind of blew them out in the map 1, then played another close hardpoint, some close maps. Surge, overall, I'd say, looking good. It was good to see New York beat another pretty good team and get that win on the board. But I'd say Surge, overall, continued to impress me, and I'm looking forward to them at Champs. They are a team that certainly has upside potential.
Yep, agree. I like how they play. They play together.
They play fast. Yeah, they may not be like outslaying a lot of teams, but yeah, like you said, they'll play fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rocker Fall to Heretics, not a lot to talk about there. Just 2 teams that like don't really want to see them at Champs. The one I want to touch on, Carolina, Brock, had a huge chance to pull off some much needed CDL points. They were up 2-0 on phase. And they get reverse swept yet again.
Man.
Huge missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Missed opportunity for this Champs race.
I mean, that would be huge right now. They'd be sitting at 140, tied with Minnesota, because Minnesota gets a very improbable win over OpTic.
Yeah. Missed opportunity, but against a good team, they played pretty well still.
Yeah, they just got to find a way. Even, like, I know it's phase and, like, they're hard to beat, but, like, when you get up 2-0, you just got to find a way. No matter who you are, you have to find a way to close out one of those final 3 maps.
Yeah. And especially for the Champs race, too.
Yeah, it's huge for them right now. Mm-hmm. Then Boston, Brock, falls down 3-0 to Surge. Just nothing much to say there, like we said, Surge.
Just put Doug in at this point.
Yeah, Surge looks very good. Boston continued to be bean slaying, and the rest of the team, whatever.
Yep. What a sad year for Boston.
Came into the year with expectations of being the 5th best team, if not maybe 6th, and they are historically bad this year. Like, winning percentage wise, could potentially end up being the worst team in the CDL. They are 1 loss away from the all-time loss, losing streak, and they play phase in their first match. So probably going to hold the longest losing streak in CDL history after this weekend.
Yeah. Just, what a year. Yeah. What a year could do to you. Like, priest up from the top to the all-time, like, bottom team.
Yeah, it's absolutely gross.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about them. Like, Beans looks pretty good. I guess maybe you keep Beans on for next year. He looks like he has some talent. They'll probably keep Snoopy and just pick up some new players, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah, they got a lot to fix.
Yeah. Then Vegas, Brock. They big win over the subliners. They 3-0'd them, as talks about the Virginia server cheese. I will say Vegas has now beat OpTic and NYSL, so I'm not going to buy the complete just server cheese. Like, Vegas does look really good. They absolutely just kind of slammed NYSL in this series overall, too. I mean, everybody on the roster, Gio with a 1.4, Attach with a 1.3, Nero and Johnny with 1.1s, a red carpet on the side for New York, just all negative on that side. And Vegas, Brock, I kind of want to, like, beat a dead horse again, but we both talked about it. We said they got a lot worse after the purge dropping, but I continued to say, and you agreed, that regardless of if they ended up getting better after dropping purge, it was always the correct move.
Yep.
And I'm getting completely vindicated in that take right now, because they go and they beat OpTic in New York in back-to-back matches. And the reason I say I'm getting vindicated with that is because of the fact that with purge, and I think you'd agree, like, let me know your thoughts on it after this, but I think you'd agree that with purge, their ceiling was capped off at just like being potentially like 5 or 6, beating the bottom teams, but just never being able to get over the hump. Now with this roster, and once again, they could bottom out on land. Who knows? They might not do anything. They might not even make champs. But with this roster, they've clearly shown that we were right. And with Johnny having the slaying upside, he opens more things up for Nero, and Gio and Attach are able to just do more because he's putting so much more pressure and getting so many more kills in front of them. Like, the skill ceiling of this team is so much higher, and now they do have the upset potential over the top teams. Do I think they're going to consistently beat the top teams? Absolutely not. But their potential is much higher than it was with Purge. With Purge, it seemed like they were topped out and they were never going to be able to beat these teams because when it came down to it, they were just going to get outslayed so heavily it was going to be hard to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Johnny and the way he plays and the pressure he puts on the map, the kills he's able to get, the slaying he brings, they seem like a team that actually has potential to pull off some upsets now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fully agree. Because, with Purge, I don't think they beat the top 4 team at all. Now with Johnny, they beat 2 back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. It's just like Purge brings a lot of good things to a team, but he just doesn't bring the slaying aspect you need when you're a bottom team. You just are like not one of the top 4 teams. You have to have the slaying upside at least, where on any given match you could just absolutely fry and keep up with them. Or with Purge, I don't think they were ever going to have that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Purge was definitely against these top teams. He would struggle by like double, triple negative sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like going to be pretty hard. You're going to have to basically play a perfect series to beat a top team with a guy going that negative. Like, it's pretty impossible to win against.
Yeah, you have the LR3 literally go 1.5 KDs for them to beat them.
And now you have like takeover players. Like, we know Attach can take over a series. Geo has shown many times he can take over a series. We know Nero also this year has been their superstar and has taken over a lot. And Johnny has some takeover ability. So I love this Vegas team. I want to see him at Champs because, to me, once again, they have high upset potential. So like they can actually make a match entertaining. Where like a team like Minnesota sneaks in or LAG sneaks in, they're probably just going to get 3-0'd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vegas get hot at the right time.
Yeah. Brock, then the 0-3 Ravens came in and got a huge win over LAT because not only is it a team that they're in contention with for a spot, it's just they just need any win to get any points. They blew them out on the map 1 and then got down 2-1. We're able to blow them out on a Rio and then win in a round 11 on Invasion. It was a huge series from Gwyn, 92 and 68, 16k damage, and they take out the Thieves. Huge win from Carolina. I'm hyped because I want to see them at Champs.
Yep. Great win. I think they were 0-3 at Game 5s. Yeah. Now they got one on the board.
And then Brock, the last match that day, I don't really want to talk too much about it. It's Miami, it's LAG. I honestly kind of wish LAG would have won because it would have helped our teams we're asking for.
Yeah.
To make Champs. And honestly, LAG was right in it. I mean, they lost 250 to 229 map 1, a round 11 in search, and a 3-2 on high rise control. But Miami overall, we got to give them some flowers too. They have looked better since this roster was implemented for a little bit here now on the role swap with Metals and Vickle. They've looked better and they do put up fights now.
Yep. Love it. Besides the fact that my boys lost and now they're really in danger of this Champs run.
Yeah, and then they ended up losing again. They went 0-6 map count on the weekend. Not shocking. They lost this next match though to FaZe. They almost were able to take them out in the sub-base hardpoint, 250 to 247. But they do end up falling to FaZe 3-0. Not much to talk about there. Honestly, the second match, Toronto 3-1 over Miami. Classic, what you'd expect. Yep. Not a lot to touch on there, though. The one I really want to touch on is the final match on Sunday. OpTic blows a 5-3 lead or a 5-2 lead in map 5 after almost coming back from down 5-1. They lose around 11, map 2. But they end up going down 3-2 to Minnesota in a big win for them.
Man. I don't know. OpTic. Congrats on Minnesota for pulling this one out.
I mean, huge win for Minnesota's champs hopes. Like, absolutely huge. This is a win that they were absolutely not expected to get and was not factoring into like the potential points they could get. So for them to be able to get this win was absolutely massive and could be a momentum builder for them. So once again, like, this team has been absolutely horrible since forming. But the like individual players in the team are good. Like Gunless is a good player. Accuracy at times he struggled a lot, but can be a good player and good if he is fitting his role. Yep. Linz is a very good player. Standy is a very good player. And I also want to say shout out to Gunless. He was awesome in this series. The stats don't necessarily exactly show it. He was +4, 1.05 overall in the series, but he had some big time moments like in the Search and Destroy where he was really good. In the control, he was like the only player shooting back for a while there. He had an awesome map 4 on Vista going 25 and 19 with 5k damage, over 100 seconds in the hill as well. And he was 8 and 8 in the map 5 making clutch plays. So, I mean, shout out to Gunless. He was absolutely awesome. We've been rooting for him. I guess your thoughts on Minnesota. I have one thing I want to say about their roster.
My thoughts, keep grinding, keep trying to get these wins to make the champs run.
Are you concerned at all for OpTic? To me, I mean, I'm not necessarily concerned. This was a weird series. The fact that like they were down 5-1 in map 2, forced round 11, lost it. The invasion control, they were up 2-0. It got really weird. It went to round 5. It got kind of blown out on the Vista, and then the Karachi, they blew a 5-2 or 5-3 lead. Map 5, like, I guess, like, maybe foot off the gas, whatever you could say. It's weird. Like, I don't think they should be losing this series. It certainly isn't something to be like, whatever, they're just losing. Like, I raised the alarm bells a little bit. I'm not panicking. I would say because of Kenny mostly. Like, old
Yeah.
OpTic teams, it might be like, oh my God, foot's off the gas, they're chalked. But, like, I think Kenny's going to be able to keep them in line and like really get on them. It's just weird that they lost 2 matches to non-top 4 teams because I mean they were on that stretch going into the major where like for a couple months they hadn't lost to any team other than FaZe. Then they lost to Toronto in winners round 2 at the major, and then like that was the first loss they had to a non-FaZe team. And they obviously win the tournament, and then so basically like the only team other than FaZe that had beaten them is Toronto once in the past couple months. Now they lost to Vegas and Minnesota in back-to-back weekends.
Yeah. Yeah, they let off the gas a little bit, and online play since they're already in champs contention could be factored in. But like you said, they have Kenny, so I'm sure Kenny will get the boys, on par and ready to go.
Yeah, just such a weird situation. But I was gonna say really quickly about the Rocker roster before we jump into predictions. Quick is I think a gunless Lens duo should be something that they explore keeping next year. I know this team isn't playing well right now, but I just don't think Standy and Lens fit together all that well as a sub duo. And maybe they could over time as they get playing better, but like I don't know. I think Gunless and Lens is a duo that I can see like playing really well. Like Gunless is finding his footing in the league. He has good communication. He's a veteran player who could still really shoot his gun. And Lens obviously is a guy that you're going to keep for Rocker because it's going to be hard to get a guy more talented than that.
Yeah.
In terms of like who you could actually pick up as Rocker. So I think they should be a team of two that they should look to build around. You get a good AR player that could really play your main or your flex and can be a true flex, and then you get a really good sub player in Lens. I think they should look to build around those two.
Yeah, I like it. Not like you said, not to say Standy accuracy bad. They just kind of don't fit what.
Yeah,
Standy's
Sandy's certainly a player that should find himself on another roster.
Yeah. Only if a way I would say only if a way like Seattle could somehow get Lens with the Buzo.
Yeah, I don't. It's still so weird to me that a team didn't pick those two up together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brock, predictions were rough for us last week. It was a 9-point week for me and a 5-point week for Drew. 9 was like basically the lowest I've had since like major 3, week 3, and like the lowest almost most of the year. 5 is your lowest week in quite some time since basically the same thing, like week 3 of major 3. It was just a weird week because like your 4-pointer hit with Seattle and mine hit, but like OpTic losing was weird. We both picked LAG over Miami. NYSL losing to Vegas kind of screwed us over. Like some toss-up matches didn't go our way. So we're going to get back on track. Predictions this week. It's weird because there are teams that are playing for so much more than others, and maybe that's throwing things off. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's. I mean, we've been going for quite a while this time, so maybe let's get through the predictions kind of fast here. We'll just kind of throw them on the board. You get the veto advantage this week for the 4 points. First match is Minnesota NYSL. I think NYSL is going to make decently quick business of them. I'm going 3-1 and putting 2 points on it for NYSL.
Oh, man. Oddly enough, I think Minnesota is going to push him to a game 5, but ultimately lose.
Okay.
So, but NYSL 3-2. Yeah, 2 points.
Okay.
So they're playing for so much more than NYSL.
Yeah, they are going to be fighting for their lives. Then game 2 on Friday is OpTic versus Carolina. I do think OpTic's going to get back on track and pull this out. I think Carolina's going to force a game 5 here. I'm putting 2 points on it.
I like it.
I'm honestly hoping that Carolina wins this match because, like I said, I really want them at champs, and this would be a match you would expect them not to win against OpTic. So, I mean, I'm really hoping Carolina wins and is able to get some more points on the board. And also, it would be entertaining on the timeline if OpTic were to lose this, then lose to NYSL.
Yeah.
On Sunday, like it would get crazy. OpTic losing that many matches in a row.
Yeah. Man, this is kind of tough for Carolina because I'm sure OpTic has a wake up call now, and gonna get
Carolina
back to
is
it.
like it hurt Carolina even more because like not only did it hurt them with Minnesota getting points on the board, but it also like probably motivates OpTic. Like Minnesota let Vegas OpTic let Vegas and Minnesota get an extra 10 points that they probably shouldn't have gotten. So Carolina already hates that, and then they're now playing probably a pissed off OpTic team that really wants to win. So Carolina is like, you guys hurt us in every way possible.
Yeah, it's just a tough draw out of here today. But I'm gonna take OpTic 3-1, 2
Yeah.
points.
Absolutely.
Holy.
All right, what do you think for this one?
For Texas and Carolina or Boston, Atlanta?
Texas, Carolina.
3-1. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll put 2 points on it.
Okay. Man, I hope Carolina wins that match though. Brock, I'm assuming your 4 points are getting put on this match.
Holy, I feel so bad for Boston. 3-0, 4 points for Atlanta.
I'm gonna go 3-0, 2 points, but that is watch this be the match they win. They can't win a single match. They're about to break the streak, and they actually end up only tying it because they somehow beat FaZe.
Yeah, but it is FaZe, like I said. FaZe usually doesn't let these bottom teams, no matter what, beat them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would be absolutely floored if Boston, this is the match they somehow win. Watch, they'll like Neslo them too. They'll win double searches somehow.
Oh, that'd be insane.
I mean, at that point, if you're FaZe, just hit the panic button just for the simple fact that how could you lose 2 searches to Boston?
Yeah.
Brock, an absolute banger match to start out Saturday. I never thought I'd say that between Carolina and Miami, but like, especially if Carolina loses to OpTic, like it's going to become an absolute desperation must win for them to kind of knock down Miami and keep pace and start putting some points on the board. And I'm going to just blind pick out of trying to will it to happen. I'm picking Carolina in a game 5 and putting 2 points on it because I just really want them to make champs. And I do think they are the better team than Miami overall. It's just, can they close it out? Because they lose to some teams that I believe they're better than, like LAG this stage already.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick Carolina as well in a 3-1. And I'll put 2 points on it.
Oh, God. Then this match is really a snoozer. Honestly, I hope Boston wins, Brock, because I don't want to see your boys LAG at champs. You know what? I think Boston's going to end the streak here. I think Boston is going to win in a 3-1 fashion. I'm putting 2 points on it. Screw it. Boston's going to take out LAG for their first win. In what, 14 matches it'll be after they lose to FaZe?
I'll go 3-0 LAG with 2 points.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad pick. They probably are going to win. But I don't know. If there was ever a team Boston could end the curse against, like, LAG's a decent candidate.
Yeah.
They're probably the next worst team, let's be honest.
Yep. This is a good match.
Seattle versus Vegas is an awesome match because Seattle right now is probably sitting as our 5th best team, and Vegas is like one of our like hottest looking teams right now, I'd say, of the bottom 8. Like they look to be on the right track. They have wins against 2 top 4 teams recently. Like Vegas looks very good and Seattle looks very good. This is an awesome match here, right? Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go game 5. Vegas takes the win. Hecz. And I'll put 2 points on it.
I agree with you. I'm doing the exact same thing. A Vegas 3-2, 2 points on it. There are some awesome matches. Like Minnesota NYSL is intriguing for the champs race. Texas Carolina, same reason. I mean Boston Atlanta, that's nothing there. But Carolina Miami is awesome. Once again, the Boston match not great. Seattle Vegas is an awesome like kind of measuring stick match to see. Like if Vegas gets that win, we got to start talking about them in that 5 range. Yep. If Seattle gets it, it's like, okay, Seattle is starting to like ward off all the teams below them. They only have their loss to NYSL this split. Like they're warding off the teams below. And then we get another match because all LAT matches are big time. Like this is a huge match for LAT. They're honestly, if they want to make champs, they're probably going to have to rip a match off of one of the top 4 teams because they play 3 of them coming up here in the final 2 weeks. It's Toronto, it's LAT. I do think, however, Toronto is going to take them out in a 3-1 fashion. And I'm putting 2 points. I was trying to look forward. I'm putting 2 points on it.
You read my mind. Same. Toronto. LH is just tough schedule, and it's just going to be tough for them to win.
Yeah. And then, Brock, Toronto plays the first match on Sunday after that, and this is where I'm putting my 4 points. It's a Toronto 3-0, putting 4 points on it over Minnesota. Minnesota just, I don't think we'll be able to hang with them. Toronto has looked still pretty good overall lately.
Yeah. I'm going to go Toronto. I'm going to go 3-1. I think Minnesota will win the search.
Okay. Then we got LAT versus Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to win this one again. It's really going to set LAT into a point where they have to win their one match, which I believe is against Vegas, we said, next week. Like their one non-top 4 match. They just got to win it. I think Atlanta's going to beat them in a 3-1 fashion. I think Thieves will make it somewhat close. I think Atlanta takes it 3-1, putting 2 points on it.
I think Thieves are gonna actually take it to a game 5, but ultimately come short to Atlanta.
I
I'll
mean,
put
Ravens
2
took him
points
there.
on it. That's right.
Then I'm looking at this correctly. I thought there was one more, but this is our only top 4 matchup of the weekend, which right now, honestly, I don't care about because like those matches are kind of whatever. Right now, I'm actually for the first time all year intrigued in the bottom 8 playing matches, as long as
Yeah.
it's not like Boston LAG, because like the champs race is interesting and like a lot of passion flowing in those matches. But it's NYSL, it's OpTic. I think OpTic's going to continue their reign against NYSL, and I actually do think they're going to do it in a 3-1 fashion. I'm putting 2 points on it. I think they're going to get back on track this week, get a couple wins over Carolina and NYSL.
For how I think pissed off Texas will be from losing these last 2 this weekend. I'm gonna go 3-0 OpTic. I'll put
Ooh,
2
bold pick there.
points.
Ben Brock, we got a match that Vegas, please win. Please win. This is a free win. You need it for
Trap.
champs. Please win it. It's Vegas. I'm just saying 3-0 Vegas, putting 2 points on it because they need to win. Please win Vegas.
I'll do 3-2 Vegas in a close game 5. Very
I know
close.
you want to pick LAG, but then you're like, actually, wait, I want Vegas at champs.
Yeah. I'll put 2 points as well.
All right, so we're pretty uniform on our picks, though. We differ. I mean, we differed on one pick. Obviously, some map counts are different, but we picked the same team in every series except one, and I was the idiot that picked Boston.
Yeah, for Boston to win.
That was the one we differed on. Was I picked Boston over LAG, like the one team you can legitimately pick Boston over, and it's realistic. But I feel like overall, like the matches were pretty chalk. I mean, you had day 1, you had 3 top 4 teams playing 3 non-top 4, and more towards the bottom teams. Day 2, you had kind of some toss-up matches between non-top 4s, but then you had a top 4 versus non-top 4, and then on day 3, you have 2 top 4 teams playing non-top 4s, a battle of the top 4 teams, and then Vegas versus a bottom LAG team. So overall, it was pretty uniform matches for the most part.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else, Brock, before we wrap this one up? It's a little bit longer one because we had all that great World Cup and Black Ops 6 news.
No, nothing much really. Excited for the Black Ops 6 to come out, basically, and champs.
It's going to be Call of Duty wise really exciting next few months. We got exciting champs race. Major 4 is going to be awesome. Then we roll into champs, which is always extra exciting, especially because we're going. So that just makes it even more exciting. So you got that. And then following champs, all of a sudden, it sounds like we might have a World Cup a month later. So exciting times coming up for Call of Duty. Here's a big tournaments coming up.
Very excited for that.
All right. That's going to do it for this one. Like always, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We appreciate all the support as always, and we will see you guys next week with the next episode.